right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rechak Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. It's your brother Rabbi Knapp coming at you with a lesson, Lord's will, edifying to the Lord's elect. I'm just going to go through a little bit of the news first, and then I'm going to kind of just get into some studying. But Dan Bongino dropped shocking early morning announcement during my tenure. He says, never be the same. I was just watching X, but hold on. Let me just go through this one time, because you got to trying to get familiar with these Hebrew characters, before I get started. Abba, Gada, Ha, Wa, Za, Cha, Ta, Yaka, La, Ma, Sa, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Taza, Kwa, Ra, Shata. So it's Abba, Gada, Ha, Wa, Za, Cha, Ta, Yaka. Abba, Gada, Ha, Wa, Za, Cha, Ta, Yaka. Lama, Nasa, I, Pa, Taza, Kwa, Ra, Shata. Okay. But anyways, leading report, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino says he will never be the same after learning what he has learned. Yeah, you can only imagine what he's learned, man. Especially going in with these devils got in classified, they classified documents that they got on different people. You can only imagine. I wouldn't even want to know all that shit. That's Esau's closet. Those skeletons in Esau's closet, how he got to where he's at today, man. Dude's an abomination. Okay, Dan Bongino. Who is Dan Bongino? Now, I know he's FBI Deputy Director. Bongino vows to reveal truth in cryptic social media posts. I got to look into this. See, that's his tongue falling upon himself. Let me grab that precept as a matter of fact. That's what's going on here, man. Because there's only so much you could hold, man. Like, it's ridiculous, man. His tongue shall fall upon themselves, something like that. Psalm 64, verse 8, it says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So when your own tongue is falling upon yourself, it's you being exposed. People are telling your business, showing your dirty laundry. Okay, and that's what he's starting to see, man. Okay, whether it be the president, other presidents, or just classified information, shit they're doing in other countries. What they're doing with your tax dollars, it's wicked. Psalm 64 and 8, they are brought to ruin. Let's get this meaning. Let's see what this means. Describes a consequence for those who plot evil. Their own words and actions will turn against them, leading to their downfall. The verse suggests that God will use their own methods of deceit and malice to expose and punish them. And that's exactly what we're getting to see. And it's a beautiful thing to see these things. Now, a lot of people ain't going to believe this, and a lot of people ain't going to care about his tongue falling upon himself. But hey, the believers better be, okay? Because it's man, you can't be happy enough to be in this time that we're living in. Here's a more detailed breakdown. He will turn their own tongues against them. This implies that the wicked's lies, accusations, or deceptive speech will be used by God to reveal their true nature and bring about their ruin. And we already know, just according to scripture, that he ain't shit, man. You read Psalms 58 and 3, Hebrews 12 and 16, I think Ecclesiastes chapter 7, and let me grab it. It exposed Esau, man. Nope. In 13, consider the work of God, For who can make that straight which he have made crooked? Now, nobody can make Esau straight, man. He was made crooked. Okay, he's a crooked. He's like a crook, man. That's what he is. Okay, so the scriptures already define the characteristics of Esau, Edom, who's the so-called white man, and he fits it perfectly. Psalms 58:3: the wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies, and that's what he does. He's a fucking, excuse my language, he's a fucking liar. Okay, you don't need to be trusting his red ass. All right. What else did I want to get? Habakkuk talks about him too. The prophets know about this devil, man. And we know about him too. Because Lord's will, we are those people. Lord's will, we are. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. Isn't he lifted up? Isn't he proud? But the just shall live by his faith. Okay, we're going to live by faith. Because you might not have all the proof. Oh, okay, well, you can't prove it you can't prove he's Esau through blood work. Come on, man. Like, wake up. Habakkuk 2:5. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. Okay, that's why you got something called Pride Month. It's just another indicator of who's ruling in this society. Neither keepeth at home. Yeah, he's in everybody's land. Right now, he in Cambodia. He in Thailand, trying to set up peace over there. Who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death. Okay, death is never satisfied, man. It can't. The grave, death is always killing, man. Okay, and cannot be satisfied. Esau cannot be satisfied. He's not satisfied with blood. He ain't satisfied with having you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans underneath his foot. He's not happy and that you live in the conditions that you live in. He's not happy. He's never satisfied, okay? He cannot be satisfied. So he's going to continuously be the devil, okay, until someone's able to stop him from doing that. And the only one who can stop him is the Lord, okay, and his son. When he sent his son, it's game over for these devils, these heathen, these people who think they're in power. I was watching this video, I guess it's a streamer with glasses. I forgot his name, man. But all he does is talk shit about Israelites, man. Okay, he calls them niggas, and mostly he just hate niggas. He probably got beat up, man, or something. He said his pops got robbed. Good. Listen, that's what you get, and it's gonna be worse for you when they rule over you. Okay, it's gonna get worse for you. But gathereth unto him all nations. That's why everyone comes over here to this melting pot called America, and heapeth unto him all people. Okay, so Esau, okay, describes him perfectly. Let's go back to this. And bring them to ruin. This highlights the ultimate consequences of their actions, signifying a complete downfall and destruction. Okay, so this is a sign of the end, because the more he gets exposed, the more he got to move different. Okay, like here it is. You got this grand scheme to rob a bank, we'll say, right? And the feds are on you. And then you're starting to get, oh shit, the feds, we got to switch it up. The plan can't go as we planned it. We kind of got to move a different way, but we're already in the midst of all these things happening. Okay? As a matter of fact, Job tells you, and just look up the word. He's speeding them up, man. He's speeding. Well, it's really the Lord speeding them up. Job chapter 5, verse 13. Let's start at 12. Job 5:12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Okay, let's see what this means. So ultimately, what it means is the Lord's going to disappoint this devil from setting up his new world order to make it plain. Okay, but I just want to see what AI says about it. He frustrates the devices of the crafty so their hands achieve no success. This verse highlights God's power to undermine the schemes of the cunning and prevent them from accomplishing their malicious plans. It emphasizes God's sovereignty and ability to thwart the wicked. Okay, so that's what he's doing, man. He got him so proud that he actually thinks he's gonna achieve this NWO, but it's a snare that he's gonna fall into, because it's like he all he sees is green, but in all actuality, he gonna get put into captivity. Okay, the stone's gonna roll upon him, according to Proverbs the 26th chapter. Maybe let me grab that. See if I still got it. I think I just read that yesterday. Proverbs 26 and 27. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. And that's exactly what his plan is going to do. It's going to fall upon his own head. Job 5:13. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. And I believe froward, let's look at this word froward again. I keep coming around it. Let me grab this these Hebrew words while I can. This is a pathal.
Strong's H 6617. Pathal.
Right, to twist. So forward is someone that's he's deceitful, you know, he's twisted, I guess, yes, twisted, but morally, like that's what else it says. Twine, literally to struggle, or figuratively be morally tortuous. What's this word tortuous mean? Show self unsavory, wrestle. Like he's not straightforward, okay? Full of twists and turns. Like when you ask somebody a question and they beat around the bush, that's kind of what a forward mouth would be. Somebody like that, very deceitful. You can't really trust them. Curvy, bending, sinuous, convoluted. That's a beautiful word. Excessively lengthy and complex. Yeah, that's the characteristics of a duck. When you try to talk to him, hey, listen, we know your name's on the Epstein files. Can you tell us why that is? Why'd you go to this party over here last night? You know, when you get interrogated, and then he starts, oh, well, listen, you know, things, you know, it was a Friday night. I wasn't there. Hold on. You said you weren't there? Oh, you know you in some shit now. Showing you that, nah, man, this dude's liar. He's a liar, man. Proverbs 6 and verse 11. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man. A naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a froward mouth. He winketh his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, he teacheth with his fingers. You know, forwardness is in his heart. He deviseth mischief continually. He soweth discord. Okay, so his body language shows you his innermost thoughts. That's why he's moving around, speaking with his feet, winking with the eyes, and teaching with his fingers. You know, when there's plenty of videos when you ask him, he like, you know, Italians like to talk. Oh yeah, you know, they're known to move their hands a lot. Okay, and it's not a good sign if you're not answering anything straightforward and you're moving a lot. Okay, those are cues that you should be paying attention to. Okay, that's what Proverbs is showing you. Okay, there's some things you just need, certain body movements and things that you need to discern. Okay, it says, all who see them will shake their heads in scorn. This emphasizes the public nature of their downfall, with others observing their ruin and expressing derision or contempt. Yeah, because the things that are being brought up about this devil it has to deal with children. You know, it's very deeply morally just corrupt, that it is so deep. Like the compass is broken the more you start to see what this devil has been doing. Okay, but the good thing about it is all these things have happened to Israel. He's done all these things, the things you're hearing about that he's doing to other people in different parts of the world. He's done all these things to Israel. Okay, and no one cared about Israel, man. Okay, so a lot of this calamities and things that have happened, the elect are going to be rejoicing about these things, because guess what? We had to go through it. Now we had that understanding, and it tells you in the book of Lamentations. I'll go back to that in a second if I don't forget, Lord's will. The first chapter, in the last 2 verses. Lamentations, I'll leave the last 4 verses. Lamentations 1:19. I call for my lovers, but they deceive me. My priests and my elders gave up the ghosts in the city while they sought their meat to relieve their souls. Now, this is the, you got to think of a besieged Jerusalem, the Babylonians taking them down, He's thinking back like, damn, well, look at all this shit that just happened, man. Lamentations 1:20. Behold, O Lord, for I am in distress, my bowels are troubled. My heart is turned within me, for I have grievously rebelled. Abroad the sword bereaveth. At home there is as death. Yeah, so, just think, put yourself in a fucked up situation and think about the conversation you're going to be having with the Lord when he's bringing this great judgment upon your people. Lamentations 1:21. They have heard that I sigh. There is none to comfort me. All my enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. Yeah, you're going to suffer what we suffered, and we're starting to see that. Okay, these nations are lamenting. Okay, same way Israel did. Lamentations 1:22. Let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me. For all my transgressions, for my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. So it's going to happen to you. So don't be surprised when these things are happening in the world, because it's going to happen to people. Okay, and it's not by surprise. The Lord is righteous. He doesn't do any iniquity. So don't think people are not getting what they deserve in these last days. Okay? As a matter of fact, what precept is that? Habakkuk goes into what I just said. Habakkuk chapter 2 and 18? No. Maybe it's 3 and 18. No. Maybe it's 1 and 18? There's no 18 over there. So the verse I'm looking for is when, that might be Deuteronomy. But he says, he shall not do iniquity. I know Habakkuk says something like that. Zephaniah 3:5. The Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. And that's another good precept. But I'm thinking Habakkuk. Habakkuk 1:13 is saying, let's go there. Thou art of purer eyes than to behold evil, and canst not look on iniquity. Wherefore lookest thou upon them that deal treacherously, and holdest thy tongue when the wicked devoureth the man that is more righteous than he? So the Habakkuk is saying here, hold on. He understands Zephaniah 3:5, that the Lord is in the midst thereof and doesn't do iniquity. But what he doesn't understand is why he's allowing the wicked to deal treacherously with Israel, who's his chosen, who's more righteous than them. They weren't given these laws, statutes, and commandments. They're not serving the Lord. Okay? This is the wicked. Okay? So why are these things happening? So the point I'm trying to make is he's not doing any iniquity. Okay? He's not transgressing his laws by doing this to the heathen. No, they deserve what is coming to them, because that's what the Lord will do. He'll use these heathen to come up against Israel to punish them, then come back around and get them for what they did to Israel. Okay, that's how the Lord did. Hey, man, it's his program. It's not, what are we getting mad about here, man? Now, it might seem, what's the word? It might seem, you don't really want to hear about it, but hey, man, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. I'm running out of patience with everybody, man. Worried about everybody. No one's gonna kill. When Jacob's trouble comes, guess what? You're gonna be the target. You Jakes. Okay? He's gonna be blaming everything on you. Okay? It's all your fault. We got to get them off the streets. They look at what they're saying, man. They want to dash your kids against the stone. Hold on. Didn't you do that? We never did that. But you did that. 2 Esdras chapter 2 and verse 34. And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest, for he is nigh at hand that shall come in the end of the world. So you heathen, you Israelite, you heathens right here, it's talking about you Israelites, first of all. And I just want to prove that. Let's see if the computer knows what that means. Because you gotta do your studying first before you get on this shit, I'm telling you. Because if you don't, you're gonna think this, you can't check AI. Okay. 2 Ezra 2 and 34, the verse speaks to the Gentiles, indicating that they are ready to listen and understand, and instructs them to wait for your shepherd who is coming very soon at the end of the age to give you eternal rest. You think that's talking about you other nations? This verse is a call to anticipate the Messiah. This is what I'm saying. This is Gentiles. The verse specifically addresses non-Jewish people referred to as Gentiles. This is why you can't trust this Google. Okay. Let's see if chat knows what this means. Chat, give me the answer. It says, and therefore, you're not going to be able to see what I'm saying, but it's giving me, I see it clearly. It says, and the heathen, the Gentiles in the Apocrypha and other biblical texts, heathen typically refers to non-Israelites, Goyim, but sometimes can mean Israelites living like Gentiles, especially in exile or disobedience. See examples below. That hear and understand, this shows that not all heathen are ignorant. Now, see, going off. Related precepts. Jeremiah 10 and 2, learn not the way of the heathen, that's Israel. John 10 and 16, other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. That's talking about the northern kingdom. Baruch 4 and 37, lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away. They come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One. That's right. And it says, look for your shepherd. This is referring to Hamashiach Yahushai, often called the shepherd in prophecy. Those who hear and understand are called to seek him and prepare his return. So let me just ask him. So are the heathen in 2 Ezra 2:34 referring to Israelite foreigners? Or I should have just said Israelites. It says Israelite forerunners. Israelite. I'll just put Israelite with an S. Israelites. Yes, the heathen in 2 Ezra 2 and 34 are referring to Israelites, specifically the scattered Israelites living among the Gentiles and behaving like the heathen due to captivity and assimilation. And that's why you need to work. You need to study. Because it's talking about you heathen. Okay? That's what it's talking about. Be ready to the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore. So it's not talking about the Goyim, the other Israelite, the other heathens out there, man. The natural born heathens. Talking about Israelites. Okay, you can be referred to as heathen too. So, all right. 2 Ezra chapter 3 verse 34. It says, weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and theirs also that dwell in the world, and so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. So that's the difference. And that's why a lot of y'all heathen, natural born heathen, y'all can't come into this thing, man. You can't accept the truth, okay? Because you're a heathen, and spiritually you don't want to accept the truth, because why would you want Israelites ruling over you? If I was a heathen, I want Israel ruling over me. No, I would want it to remain. Hey, keep praying to Esau. Caesar Borgia, that's your king, man. All right? But he's going down. 2 Ezra chapter 3, verse 35. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? or what people have so kept thy commandments? Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen. Now this heathen here, that's talking about you other nations, man. You have not kept thy precepts. You have not kept the commandments. Okay? But anyway, Dan Bongino says he will never be the same after learning what he has learned. True Social says that. Where was I? Oh, I was over here. Allow ads on Fox News. I don't want ads. Let me see. I just want to get let's see what the New York Post is saying about it. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino shocked to his core over FBI's recent corruption discoveries. I'll never be the same. Oh, can I get some video? Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Oh, he ain't saying nothing. It's just music. President Duck demanded that former VP Kamala Harris be prosecuted along with Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey, and Al Sharpton over fees paid to the stars during the 2024 election. Oh my God, man. This is so funny, man. The Lord got a sense of humor, man. Imagine that. He tells you in Ezra's 6th chapter, this was all part of his plan, man. You know, so it's beautiful that he sets up Duck in this last. He got the Duck in charge at the end, man. It's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious, man. The Lord tells you he's going to be laughing at the heathen, man. Yeah, well, he said after you 2/3, but let me see. Was it, did he? Actually, no, that's Proverbs, the 1st chapter, I was thinking. He was, let me see if there's a precept on him laughing at, Proverbs 1:26. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Now, that's talking about Israel, more importantly, because the prophets are out on these highways and hedges to warn you, to get you prepared, but you want to follow Esau. Okay. Let's see. Proverbs 1:26. Let me look at some tools. Cross references. Judges 10:14. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation. And, you know, that's Israel again, too, because you worship these heathenistic gods. Let them help you out in the time of your tribulation. Psalms 2:4, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. That's the precept that I'm looking for. Psalms 2:4, let me read the rest. Psalms 37:13, the Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. That's right, he's going to be laughing at you heathen, man. Fret not because of evildoers. Luke 14:24, for I say unto you that none of those men which were bidden shall taste of my supper. Man, there I forgot why he said that, because you weren't right, man. The first people he brought into the marriage, they weren't right, man. Let's go into this Psalms 2:4. Let's search that. Let's get this meaning. Psalms 2:4, which reads, he who sits in the heavens shall laugh. That's talking about the Heavenly Father. The Lord holds them in derision, conveys God's reaction to the futile rebellion of earthly powers against his divine authority in his appointed king, which is Yahushua. It signifies that God is not intimidated or threatened by human opposition, but rather views it with amusement and contempt. So this is funny to him when he sees Duck and Bongino. Lord got a sense of humor, man. It's beautiful. Let me read this. I got to read this, man, because this is just ridiculous. President Trump demanded that former VP Kamala Harris be prosecuted along with Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey and Al Sharpton over fees paid to the stars during the 2024 election. I gotta find this, man. I gotta see him say this, man. This is hilarious. I gotta find it. That's just too funny. Trump says what did he say? Wants to prosecute. Trump says he wants to prosecute VP Kamala Harris and Beyonce for 2024 election. Videos. Where is USA Today Life on? And President Trump said, come on. Trump alleges, maybe this is the one. Harris unveiled, let me see, maybe this is it.
Auto insurance rates went up
Oh, shut up. Let me turn this down real quick.
again in 2024, which means it might be a smart time to shop around for a new policy.
Thank you, viewers. For staying with us. Now continuing with international news, US President Donald Trump on Saturday accused the Democratic Party of illegally paying millions of dollars to celebrities, and all this in return for their endorsements during the 2024 presidential election campaign. In fact, Trump demanded that Kamala Harris and several top American celebrities be prosecuted for allegedly receiving and paying millions of dollars for endorsements during the 2024 presidential campaign. In fact, Trump went ahead and called the move totally illegal and further accused Democrats of breaking campaign finance laws. Now let's get into the details of the post that he shared on his account. Trump accused Harris in the post of spending millions of dollars to buy endorsements from stars such as singer Beyonce, TV host Oprah, and also civil rights activist Sharpton. Now he alleged...
Now she said a post, so maybe he didn't say that. So I guess he wrote it in a post.
That the endorsements were paid for and not genuine, and also called for the legal action in such cases. He also took to social truth and wrote, and I quote him here, "I'm looking at the large amount of money owed by the Democrats after the presidential election, and the fact that they admit to..."
So she said Truth Social. I got Trump on Truth Social. Okay. Let's see if I can find it. I was just looking at this earlier. Very important. Republicans must play to win. Where does he post this? He says Saturday. This is funny. WSJ economic optimism up to 11 points on the Trump recent record. I don't know. She said she read it on Truth Social. Where did you read it at? I'm on Truth Social. She said Saturday. What's this? A day ago. When did he post that? We dominate the future. We conquer. No, where? Oh my gosh. What's this?
As a CEO of a global...
Oh, that's NVIDIA. He's been in the news lately, too. I don't know where he posted it at. I wanted to see if I could grab it. But the point was kind of already made. Lord's laughing at all this because this is very entertaining. Absolutely entertaining. Some of this news I see, and it just makes me laugh. It literally just, like, you can't even... How can you not laugh at what's going on? This is like hilarious.
Paying probably illegally $11 million to singer Beyonce for an endorsement. She never sang, not even one note, and left the stage to booing an angry audience. $3 million for expenses to Oprah, $600,000 to very low-rated TV anchor, and in fact he went ahead and said a total lightweight and others to be named for doing absolutely nothing. Now these ridiculous fees were incorrectly stated in the books and records, and he said this in caps, in fact. You're not allowed to pay for an endorsement. It is totally illegal to do so. That's the latest that's coming in from the US President Donald Trump. He's accused Democrats, party leaders, of illegally paying for endorsements. And these endorsements, remember, took place during the presidential campaign 2024.
Elam, you just did a wonderful job. She spoke very elegantly, and I gotta praise her for that because I can't stand listening to Elam. Psalms 37:13, the Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. And we see it too. Okay, and let's look into this too. Psalms 37:13. This verse is part of a larger passage of Psalm 37 that contrasts the prosperity of the wicked with the eventual triumph of the righteous. The laughter of the Lord is not malicious, but rather a declaration of God's ultimate power and justice, indicating that he sees the wicked's downfall is inevitable. And that's how we see it too. And that's why we making our call in an election sure now, because, I mean, look what's going on, man. This is an everyday thing. Tomorrow, new things. And you know what? Better things. Every single day, closer and closer to his fall. The Lord laughs at the wicked. This imagery signifies God's disdain and dismissal of the wicked's actions and plans. It's not a joyful laugh, but rather one of judgment and sovereignty, according to some Bible commentaries. Yeah, it sounds like, you know, the Lord's laughing because, first of all, it's everything's to appease him, man. He's when his judgment comes, that's to appease the Lord. When your judgment comes, that's to appease the Lord. Okay? He tells you their spirits created for vengeance. Let's grab that. It's Rock 39. Okay, let's grab it. Because that's what Duck is. He's a spirit created to bring forth his vengeance. Okay, there's another precept I'm thinking about. Let me grab it. The Lord says, I will do all my pleasure, KJV, I said. Isaiah 46:10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. So his counsel, things he's committed, prophesied to say that was going to happen, that's going to stand, man. Isaiah 46:10 declares God's unique ability to know and declare the end from the beginning, emphasizing his sovereignty and eternal perspective. It highlights that his purposes are unchangeable and will be fulfilled. This verse is a testament to God's foreknowledge and control over all events, both past, present, and future. I make known the end from the beginning. This phrase signifies God's omniscience and ability to see the culmination of events from their inception. It is a statement about God's unique perspective as he exists outside of time and is not limited by it like humans are. Okay? And God's talking about the Most High God, Yahweh. From ancient times, things not yet done. This emphasizes Yahweh's foreknowledge, meaning he knows what will happen before it even occurs. He reveals these future events through prophecies and declarations, and that's what we're starting to see. His prophetic word being brought to pass in real time. My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. This part of the verse highlights God's sovereignty and the unchangeable nature of his plans. It means that God's purposes will be accomplished and nothing can thwart his will. I want to get more into this because what does pleasure mean? Okay. What does that mean? Pleasure refers to the feeling of enjoyment or satisfaction or something that provides that feeling. It encompasses a wide range of experiences from the simple pleasures of everyday life to intense, even sensual gratifications. Essentially, it's a positive and desirable emotional state. And that's what he said he's going to do it. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's get that in the blue letter. Because it always means, you want to get it. Isaiah 46. verse 10. I want to get the word pleasure. Do all my pleasure. Okay, and the word is cha. Cha pa. Is that a pa? Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, cha pa. And this backwards Y. What is that? Tazah. Ka pa tazah. Ka pa taz. Let's see what it says.
Strong's H 2656. Chafetz. Chafetz.
Ka pa tazah. Chafetz. I know I ain't saying it right, but I don't think he's saying it right either. But it says delight, pleasure. Okay, the good pleasure, that in which one takes delight. So you getting burnt up in Babylon, he's going to take delight in that. Okay? And who's going to bring forth this MOTB so your ass can get burnt up? I think it's the duck. The duck's going to do it, man. Okay? Kefetz. Pleasure, hence abstractly desire, concretely a valuable thing. Hence, by extension, a matter as something in mind, acceptable, delightsome, desired, things desired, matter, pleasant, purpose. See, that's his purpose. Willingly. Okay. Everything in which she delighted, pleasant, acceptable words, has no pleasure in fools. So that's what it is. He's going to take his pleasure. Back to Ecclesiasticus, the 39th chapter, in the verse number. I'll start at, I just want to get straight to the point. Verse Sirach 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, their power, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. And he's going to pour out his force by using Esau to bring forth the end and ultimately the kingdom. Okay, so everyone's going to be faced with disaster, destruction, famine, pestilence. He's going to bring it all to pass. Okay. Just in, Trump announces massive deal with Japan. That's days ago. But let's keep it moving. That's damn Bongino, man. I honestly find Abigail and Brittany Hensel fascinating and a testament to human adaptability. I'm really glad they are leading happy lives with Abigail getting married. Don't tell me this dude just had a kid with her, man. Nah, I think that's their sister. They still alive, man. 56 million. Yeah, that's different, man. A white couple was brutally beaten at a jazz festival by a black teen mob in Cincinnati yesterday. I saw that, man. Damn, she's laid out. She's looking like you got knocked the fuck out, man. Esau, you're a rap, man. You're a rap, man. And hey, the scriptures tell you that, man. There's going to be a time. People are not just saying it for no reason. Okay, there's going to be Egyptian against Egyptian. And now, is this going to be one of those events that Esau can use to bring forth that, or the Lord ultimately? Isaiah 19:2, and I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. It's going to be a civil war out here, man. Cross refs. Okay. Let's see if they give any good precepts. Nope. So the Egyptian Hebrew mingle. No, they didn't want to give me any precepts for the second part of their verse. All right, but there's plenty of precepts. I mean, I'm thinking of Mark. I mean, it's in Matthew, Mark, Luke. I can't remember exactly. Mark 13 and 8. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. Okay. Let's get the meaning of this. Okay, this metaphor of birth pains suggests a process leading to a new beginning, similar to the labor pains before childbirth, indicating that the current suffering is a precursor to the coming of God's kingdom. And all these things are precursors to the coming of the Lord. Okay, especially if he can use this situation as a way to bring about these prophecies that I'm talking about, especially kingdom, having the kingdom versus kingdom. That's all part of the will of the Lord. I'm trying to think. There's more precepts. I just can't think of them at the top of my head right now. Yeah, I can't even think of it. But there's one in Second Esdras, I believe 15, and Second Esdras chapter 15. Let's go there. I think it's around 14th verse. Yeah, Second Esdras 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Now they just got beat up, with their hands, but there's gonna be swords in their hands when they really start going at it. And this is just one situation out of many that are gonna happen. When that day comes, man. Leading up to that day, like a George Floyd situation might kick this place off, or a situation where that kid stabbed the other kid. That could have turned ugly, man. There's always a situation, you think back in the day, like a Martin Luther King getting put to death, or something crazy, man. Something's gonna spark, Jake. As a matter of fact, let me grab this. Job. Let's see where is it? Where is it? It's probably back. It says the hand of the wicked. The hands of the wicked shall be upon them, something like that. Let's grab that precept. I don't want X. The hands of the wicked shall fall upon them, KJV. I know it's in Job. I'm messing up. I can't think of it. I'm gonna find it. Job 20 and 22. Yeah, let me grab this in the blue letter. It was Job 20. I missed it right here. Job 20 and 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And this word wicked is talking about you Israelites, you wicked 2/3 gonna be coming up fighting against. Ultimately, it's the Lord gonna be using you for something in these last days to disrupt some shit, but probably kicking off this civil war, okay, or this civil unrest, whatever you want to call it. Okay, laborer, sufferer, wretched one, laborer, workman, sufferer. That's talking about y'all. Toiling, concretely a laborer. Okay, the laborer that is a misery had taken labor, wicked workman. Okay, and the word here is amel. And what's this Y? This Y here is a, where is it? This is an I. That's an I. I-ma, la, amal, amal.
Strong's H 6001. A male. A male.
Yeah, male. It's talking about you wicked Israelites. Cross references. The wicked shall come upon him. Job 3:17. There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. Oh, so that's the same word as a male. Let me see if that's true. Because Job's talking about Job 3, verse 17. Yeah, well, the laborers. The wicked. No, see, then what the hell are they talking about? This is a completely different word. It's Rasha. Okay, Rasha. 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 Okay. Wicked man, ungodly, hostile to God, wicked, guilty of sin against God or man. And that's everybody, man. I mean, the wicked is I believe this is talking about the Edomites. Because when you die, you're at rest. Everyone's at rest when they go to the Heavenly Father. Okay? When you die, you're going up there. And if you're a male, if you're a man, female, if you're a human, I should say, your spirit goes up, and if you're a beast, your spirit goes down. Okay. So her spirit went up, and his spirit, they still alive. I'm just fooling around. But Trump scores massive legal victory after judge dismisses lawsuit aimed to block his administration from downsizing U.S. aid. All right, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Where do I want to go? Let's get some news. Let's see what else is going on. Israel to pause fighting in Gaza areas each day for aid corridors. What's this talking about? Jerusalem. I don't want this. All right, whatever. Trump plays second round of golf during day 2 of Scottish visit. Man is accused. Man in custody after stabbing 11 people at Michigan Walmart 3 hours ago. Damn, 11 people? You didn't hear the first one yelling and screaming in agony?
A man armed with a scene
Hold on, let's get up in this. Michigan.
taking place Saturday afternoon in Traverse City, Michigan. A man armed with a folding knife went on a stabbing spree at a local Walmart. Authorities say 11 people were injured in this attack. 6 men, 5 women. They were all chosen at random. That's according to people inside the store. The suspect was moving through the Walmart, shoving and stabbing people. One woman telling the New York Times there was, quote, blood everywhere. The sheriff says citizen involvement brought the attack to an end. They did not elaborate any further. The suspect, who is now in custody, has not been publicly identified, but we know he is a 42-year-old Michigan resident who authorities believe acted alone. The motive is not clear this morning. The 11 victims' information has also not been released, but as of Saturday night, all of them were being treated at the area's largest hospital. According to the hospital, 6 were in critical condition, 5 in serious condition.
Escape that. Yeah, you heard. So people getting put.
Begin in the Middle East. Begin in the middle.
All right. Made me think of Matthew the 24th chapter. Matthew 24. In verse number 12, it says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So it's the times we're getting into, man. You got to be circumspect. Hawashah predicts that as lawlessness increases, the love of many will grow cold. This verse highlights a decline in love and compassion among people due to widespread wickedness and disregard for God's law. Yeah, you think the person who did that had regard for God's law? No, man. She probably had a bunch of demons on him. And it suggests that as people increasingly turn away from God's ways, their capacity for love and genuine connection with others will diminish. Okay, so this is why the laws need to be implemented, man. You know, you want everyone love, everyone's talking about this love bullshit. They really hate you. Okay, when these people are not operating under the will of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, all that love shit's out the door. Okay? The Lord says, if you love me, keep my commandments. And he's telling you don't want to keep them. Look what's going to happen in the world. Okay, I think it's John. I always get this one wrong. John 14 and 15. Oh, I got it. John 14 and 15. If you love me, keep my commandments, man. All right. And then people ain't going to wax cold. Because they're going to see you operating in the correct spirit. They're going to want to operate in the correct spirit. But when you're operating in the wrong spirit, then you're and everyone else is operating in the wrong spirit, then that iniquity is going to abound. Okay? And that's going to cause people to what? Do shit like that. Okay? Lawlessness. This refers to a state of being without law, where individuals disregard moral and ethical principles, acting according to their own desires and impulses. He might have just been mad. Yo, fuck it, man. My coupon didn't go through with the checkout register, man. Fuck it, man. Let me pull out my Rambo knife and go around poking people. Love will grow cold. This indicates a decline in genuine, selfless love, often referred to as agape love, which is characterized by compassion, kindness, and a desire for the well-being of others. You think he desired for the well-being of others if he got 6 of them in critical condition and 5 in serious condition? Come on, man. He was poking arteries, man. Many, not all. The verse, when does it say many, not all? Like, what is this talking about? Because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So it says many. The verse specifies that the decline in love will affect many. And we know love is to keep the commandments, implying that some will maintain their love and faithfulness despite the surrounding wickedness. That's the elect. Okay? And this is the only form of love that you're going to get, is someone taking the time to actually bring this out. That's the only form of love you're going to get. Okay? Now, some of us might swear, I swear a lot, cuss out the so-called white man for his wickedness, and you might think of that as a bad thing. But this damn red Hebrew devil Edomite lies and tells you that the name of the Lord is Jesus, that's false. It's just false, man. Okay, I'll just grab it. When was the letter J created? The letter J was not created, but rather it evolved from the letter I and became a distinct letter in the English alphabet around the 17th century. Initially, I and J were used interchangeably, especially for the consonant sound represented by J today. Italian grammarian Gian Giorgio Trissino is credited with the first distinguishing between the two sounds in 1524, but the formal separation in English writing took some time to be fully adopted. So 1524, okay, so which means even Julius Caesar, that's not his damn name. What did they call Julius Caesar if the letter J came out in 1524? if the letter J didn't exist in 1524, Julius Caesar would have been called Julius Caesar. The letter J is a relatively recent addition to the alphabet, and before its introduction, the sound was represented by the letter I in Latin, the language Caesar could have been familiar with. His name would have been written as Gaius Julius Caesar. So Julius Caesar never exists, just like Jesus Christ, which is, and that person never existed, man. Okay, and I hope you understand what I'm saying, because I know there's a lot of thick-skulled, small bird brains out there. Not saying the Lord didn't exist. Okay. Cesare Borgia. Who is he? Borgia? Who is he? Okay, Cesare Borgia. Let's talk about this devil. That's who you worship. This ugly motherfucker, man. Cesare Borgia. Okay. Why? I need English. Why do I have this? What language am I reading this in? I need English. Okay. September 1475. So how old? Born September 13th, 1475. Italy, died March 12th, 1507. Aged 31. So he was even close to the age of when Yahushua died. I didn't know that. Burial place, Iglesia de Santa Maria Viana. I believe that's Italy. Title, spouse Charlotte. Children Luis Borgia, Gorolama Borgia, Carmela Lucrezia Borgia, 9 others. So he had kids, parents, Pope Alexander VI. Yeah, that's it. Pope Alexander VI was head of the Catholic Church and ruler of the Papal States from 11th August 1492 until his death in 1503. Look at this devil, man. Y'all go to this church. You guys are foolish. After initially entering the church and becoming a cardinal on his father's election to the papacy, he resigned his diaconal profession after the death of his brother in 1498, who I believe he killed. He was employed as a condottiero for King Louis the XII of France around 1500 and occupied both Milan and Naples during the Italian Wars. At the same time, he carved out a state for himself in central Italy, but he was unable to retain power for long after his father's death. His quest for political power was a major inspiration for The Prince by the renowned Florentine historian Niccolò Machiavelli. Okay. So that's who you worship, man. This ugly motherfucker. And the image that they have of him today isn't even the image. They had to try to make the image more handsome for you to worship him, because he wasn't even, the image that you had today is just completely false, man. But you're pretty much worshiping him in a weird way. Like many aspects of Cesare Borgia's life, the date of his birth is subject of dispute. He was born in Subiaco, Papal States, now in Lazio, Italy, in either 1475 or 1476. The illegitimate son of Cardinal Roderick Lalancol I de Borgia, usually known as Rodrigo Borgia, later Pope Alexander VI, and his Italian mistress, Vanosa dea Catani, was an Italian woman who was the chief mistress of Cardinal Rodrigo de Borgia, later to become Pope Alexander VI. and mother of 4 of his children, Caesar or Cesare, Giovanni, Lucrezia, and Goffredo, all publicly recognized by their father, about whom information is sparse. The Borgia family originally came from the Kingdom of Valencia. The Kingdom of Valencia, located in eastern shore of the Iberian Peninsula, was one of the component realms of the Crown of Aragon, and rose to prominence during the mid-15th century. Cesare's great-uncle Alfonso Borgia, Bishop of Valencia, was elected Pope Calixtus III in 1455. Caesar's father, Pope Alexander VI, was the first pope who openly recognized his children born out of wedlock. The Italian historian Stefano Infusa writes that Cardinal Borgia falsely claimed Cesare to be the illegitimate son of another man, Domenico di Arignano, the nominal husband of Vanazza di Catania. More likely, Pope Sixtus V granted Cesare a release from the necessity of proving his birth in a papal bull of October 1st, 1480. So, long story short, he's the illegitimate son of Pope Alexander VI. Okay, and that's who you worship. All right? Everyone who talks about Jesus Christ. All right, there's actually one more person I wanted to look up. What was his name? And, he don't fit, of course, you got to grab Revelation, the first chapter, if you don't know. I mean, this was profound when I found this out, that this devil was be able to hide right in front of you this whole time. Revelation 1:9, I, John, who also am your brother and companion in tribulation and in the kingdom and patience of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, was in the Isle, which is an island that is called Patmos, for the word of God and for the testimony of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Let's find out. Map of Patmos. It's in the Mediterranean, I believe. Patmos, where are you? So John was on this little island. Yep, in the Mediterranean Sea. Next to where there's Greece, Turkey. Okay. All right, so that's Patmos, and let's see, what's this other guy's name? What's his name? Luis D. Torres. That's another guy I want to. Actually, that finished that. Revelation 1:9. So he was on the island of Patmos. I wanted to learn more about my man John. Let's see what that's talking about. John identifies himself as a brother and companion in tribulation, kingdom, and the patience of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, while also stating that He was on the island of Patmos for the word of God and for the testimony of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. This verse highlights John's solidarity with his fellow believers facing hardship and persecution for their faith, and explains his exile to Patmos as a consequence of his commitment to sharing the gospel and bearing witness to Yahweh Shai. And listen, we're going to go through the same things. We're going to go through the same things. As a matter of fact, let me grab that precept in the book of Revelation 2. And where is it? Is it 10? Yeah. Fear not, Revelation 2 and 10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I'll give thee a crown of life. So they expect it, man. 10 days, perfect amount of time, 10 going into perfection. Revelation 1 and 10, I was in the spirit on the Lord's day, and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet. Now, we're about to get into Yahweh Shai, but I want to take the time to get into this, see if there's any meat. In Revelation 1 and 10, the phrase the Lord's day most likely refers to Sunday. Okay. The first day of the week, which was the day Christians gathered for worship and observed as the day of Hamashiach's resurrection. And that's a full-blown lie. Okay? Because first of all, who said Sunday was the first day of the week? I know Esau, said that. Slag. This is why I'm telling you, this damn devil. As a matter of fact, let me type this into chat and see what chat says. Chat has a little more brains than Google. Okay. Revelation 1 and 10, I was in the spirit. This means John was in a spiritual vision or prophetic trance, similar to how prophets in the Old Testament were taken in the spirit to receive revelations from the Most High. Precepts Ezekiel 3 and 12. You see the difference. He at least kind of backs up what he's saying, but on Google it just goes to fucking straight bullshit, just straight, like no scriptures backing up anything he's. How can you even talk? Sunday's not even in the Bible. Like, that's what I wanted to get. Okay, so you Christians out there, you might read that and be like, see, I was right. Sunday. There are no concordance results for Sunday in the KJV. Okay, there you go. Okay, just wanted to do that. What was I got too many tabs opened. Revelation 1 and 10. I was in it says, I wanted to grab Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 12. Then the Spirit took me up, and I heard behind me a voice of a great rushing, saying, Blessed be the glory of the Lord from his place. I heard also the noise of the wings of the living creatures that touched one another, and the noise of the wheels over against them, and the noise of a great rushing. Okay, so the Spirit took him up. Okay. 2 Peter 1 and 21. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of God spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit. Okay, so that's you being in the Spirit. As a matter of fact, let's go over there and see what that word move means in 2 Peter 1 and 21. Moved.
Strong's G 5342. Pharaoh.
To move by bearing, to bear with oneself, to be conveyed or born with the suggestion of force or speed, of persons born in a ship over the sea, of a gust of wind to rush, of the mind to be moved inwardly, prompted. Let's look at this word, prompted. Of an event or fact, cause or bring about an action or feeling, assist or encourage a hesitating speaker to say something. Yeah, that's what the Spirit does. You feel it, man. You might, something dawn on you, like, yeah, this all makes perfect sense to me. Of a Mashiach, the preserver of the universe, to endure the rigor of a thing, to bear patiently one's conduct or spare one, abstain from punishing or destroying, lead or conduct. I like where it says here, of the mind to be moved inwardly, prompted. Okay. Revelation 1:11, saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, and what thou seest write in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, and unto Smyrna, and unto Pergamos, and unto Thyatira, and unto Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto Laodicea. So the 7 churches of Asia Minor. This is who the Lord reserved, because the prophets were getting beheaded, they were being persecuted, they were dying, but the Lord spared John so he could get this revelation out to the churches. Okay, so it was all for his purposes, why he was spared to go into captivity. What's going on here? I don't know what happened with mine. Was Caesar Borgia... Hold on. No, that's not what I want. Did John serve hard labor on the island of Patmos in the salt mines? While John was exiled to the island of Patmos for preaching the gospel, the idea, and that's crazy because they opened up Alligator Alcatraz. That's on the island. Y'all gonna be going there too for preaching this word once he makes it illegal, or wherever he brings you. But it's just, there's places set up that are similar to the places that were in the old times. While John was exiled to the island of Patmos for preaching the gospel, the idea that he specifically served hard labor in salt mines is a matter of tradition and historical speculation, not definitively stated in the Bible. Okay, but what do you do in a salt mine? Is working on a salt mine considered hard labor? Yes, working in a salt mine is widely considered to be hard labor due to the physically demanding nature of the work, the harsh environmental conditions, and the potential health risk. The phrase "back to the salt mines" is often used to describe a return to difficult and tedious work. Here's why salt mining is considered hard labor. Physically demanding salt miners often engage in tasks like digging, loading, and unloading salt, which can involve heavy lifting, repetitive movements, and prolonged exposure to physical strain. Harsh conditions. Salt mines can be hot, humid, and poorly ventilated, with potential exposure to hazardous chemicals like ammonia and hydrogen gas. Monotonous work. The repetitive nature of many salt mining tasks can be mentally taxing and contribute to a sense of drudgery. What's this? What's drudgery? Hard, menial, or dull work. Health risks. Prolonged exposure to the conditions in salt mines can lead to various health problems, including respiratory issues, skin problems, dehydration, and musculoskeletal injuries. I don't know what that means. Musculoskeletal system is an essential component of human health. In addition to providing the body with structure in the means for movement, the musculoskeletal system acts as an endocrine system stimulated by exercise, interacting through the biochemical signaling with other organs in the body. Are injuries, musculoskeletal disorders are injuries or pain in the human musculoskeletal. I'm thinking muscles in the skeleton, like including the joints, ligaments, muscles, nerves, tendons, and structures that support limbs, neck, and back. So your muscles. So you get all those type of historical context. The use of salt mines as a form of punishment throughout history, such as in the 18th and 19th century Russia, reinforces the perception of salt mining as a harsh and undesirable form of labor. Limited opportunities in some regions, salt mining is associated with poverty and lack of access to education and other opportunities, further highlighting its challenging nature. So don't think John got it easy, man. All right? I think John got it easy. While some interpretations suggest it could the day of the Lord or even the Sabbath. Oh yeah, I was in chat. What does it say about the day of the Lord? On the days, the Lord's day. This phrase is often debated, but biblically and historically, the Lord's day refers to the Sabbath, which is the seventh day, Saturday. So now they're even going off. So because we know it's according to the moon. What's the precept? Something about the moon and its perfection. The moon in its perfection, Psalms. The moon in its perfection, Psalms. The phrase the moon in its perfection often refers to the full moon. Specifically, in the context of biblical religious texts, it can also be interpreted metaphorically to represent a state of wholeness, completeness, or deal. Yeah, but where's the precept I'm looking for? Sirach 43. Sirach 43. Sirach 43:6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. So a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Okay, so the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven, the beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of the Lord. So so the moon is a sign of feast. Okay. Let me see. I'm thinking of something in Psalms though. As a matter of fact, let's just go to the KJV and type in moon. Jump to the book of Psalms. Okay, Psalms 8:3. When I considered thy heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained. No, Psalm 72:5. They shall fear thee as long as the sun and the moon endure throughout all generations. No. In his days shall the righteous flourish in abundance of peace, so long as the moon endureth. No. Psalm 81:3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. Let's get this. Let's see what this means. Psalm 81:3 instructs God's people to blow the trumpet at the new moon and the full moon, specifically on the day of their appointed feast. This signifies a call to worship and celebration, marking both the beginning of the month and the start of a significant festival. So the beginning of the month would be a Sabbath day, okay, which is according to the moon. The psalm emphasizes God's faithfulness and the importance of remembering his deliverance, while also calling for obedience and trust in him. The new moon marked the start of the Hebrew month and was a time of worship and reflection. It also symbolized new beginnings and spiritual renewal. But the point is, the month was a time, it was the new moon marked the start of the Hebrew month. Okay, so once it marked the start of the Hebrew month, it also marks the next the day of the Sabbath until the next new moon, which is the mark of the second month. Okay, so there's no Saturday or Sunday. It was according to the moon. And when the moon is full, the full moon, which would also fall on a Sabbath day, coinciding with major feasts, signified the middle of the month, as was a time of see, it's the middle of the month, and we read Sirach, the 43rd chapter, as it decreases, going back into the, like it said here, Sirach 43:6, he made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times, like the Sabbath, and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of feast. From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. When it's perfect, it's full. And then it says, the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. A light that decreaseth in her perfection. Okay, so going back to the new moon. So the day of the Lord, he's saying, is the Sabbath. Matthew 12:8. Let me grab that. Matthew 12, verse 8. The Lord of the Sabbath, for the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day. All right. So, yes. So where was I reading? I was Revelation 1:10. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day. Okay. Let's go into that. Let's see what the word time. The day used of the natural day, or the interval between sunrise and sunset, as distinguished from in contrast with the night. Metaphor, the day is regarded as a time for abstaining from indulgence, vice, crime, because acts of the sort are perpetuated at night in darkness of the civil day, or the space of 24 hours. Eastern usage of this term differs from our Western usage. Any part of a day is counted as a whole day, whence the expression 3 days and 3 nights does not mean literally 3 whole days, but at least 1 whole day plus part of 2 other days. Of the last day of the present age, the day Hamashiach will return from heaven. Use time in general, the days of his life. Doesn't tell you it's the Sabbath day. It just says on the Lord's day. Okay. Revelation 1:11. We know Alpha and Omega is talking about the Lord, but I'm going to get it anyways. Instructs the Apostle John to write down what he sees and send it to 7 churches in Asia, which is the 7 churches. This command emphasizes the importance of preserving the prophetic message of Revelation and delivering it to specific congregations. The verse also highlights Yahweh's declaration of being the Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, emphasizing his eternal in nature and authority. Okay. Revelation 1:12, and I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. Okay. Let's see. In Revelation 1:12, John turns to see the voice that was speaking to him and sees 7 golden lampstands. These lampstands are later identified as representing 7 churches in Asia Minor, This vision signifies that Yahushua is present and active within his churches, holding them as a source of light and truth. So that's what the vision is, man. Okay. Revelation 1:13, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like the Son of Man, clothed with the garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with the golden girdle. Okay, so he was in the midst of the churches, and it tells you, my tabernacle is with men. Something like that. Revelation 21:3, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. So that his tabernacles with men. And there's another precept that says the Lord is in the midst of Israel, KJV, something like that. This is a good one. Exodus 29:45. It says, God declares, I will dwell among the children of Israel and will be their God. Joel 2:27. And you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and there is none else, and my people shall never be ashamed. Psalm 46:5. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her in that right early. Numbers 23:21. He considers no disaster for Jacob, nor does he see trouble for Israel. The Lord their God is with them, and the shout of a king is among them. Showing you he's with his people, man. Revelation 1:14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Let's see what they got to say about that. Curious. The deception of Yahushua with the description, Salakia, of Yahushua with hair like white wool, as white as snow, symbolizes his divine nature, wisdom, and purity. Oh, it doesn't. This is not a descriptive, because look at this image over here. And what does this symbolize? These false images you damn devils be putting out there, you damn liars. His eyes like a flame of fire, signifying his penetrating judgment and righteousness. The verse depicts Yahushua in his glorified state, echoing the description of God in Daniel 7:9. This imagery emphasizes the eternal wisdom, purity, and the piercing nature of his gaze. No, it's describing him verbatim. Okay? And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice has the sound of many waters. Well, what do they got to say about that? Is that not describing him? Let's see what these devils put. The description of Yahushua's feet as like burnished bronze, as if refined in a furnace, symbolizes his judgment and authority. Hold on, I thought you just said that about his eyes. You just said that about his eyes. His eyes like a flame of fire signifies his penetrating judgment and righteousness. The imagery suggests, this is talking about his feet. The imagery, it says it symbolizes his judgment and authority, and his eyes symbolize what? Judgment and righteousness. These devils are funny. In the refining power of divine judgment, bronze was a material used in the Old Testament for items associated with sacrifice and judgment, such as the bronze altar. This connection to the Old Testament symbolism, combined with the refining process in a furnace, highlights the righteous and powerful nature of Hamashiach's judgment. You know, some of y'all believe that, man. Some of y'all believe that, even though the so-called white man ain't got nothing good. So he came out of who he hates so much. The Edomites, who came up red all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. No, that's not what this is saying. Burnished bronze, this refers to bronze that has been polished to a brilliant shine in Revelation 1:15. The bronze is described as being refined in a furnace, suggesting it has been purified and perfected. The furnace is a symbol of testing and purification. Just as metal is purified by fire, Hamashiach's judgment is seen as a process that purges away impurities and reveals what is genuine. So what judgment is he bringing? Who's getting judged according to y'all? Why would he judge if he loves everybody? What's judgment is? What's going on here? Strength and stability. Bronze in biblical times was associated with strength and durability. The polished bronze signifies Hamashiach's unwavering and unyielding nature in his role as judge. Way off. Judgment and authority. The imagery of bronze, particularly when linked to the furnace, points to the righteous judgment of Hamashiach. It emphasizes that his judgments are pure, just and not subject to corruption. Okay. No, it says in his feet like unto fine brass. So he's comparing his feet like unto fine brass. Not because it's hard. No, the color of it. As if they burned in a furnace. So he's telling you not only is he brown, he's dark. He's the dark brown. And his voice has the sound of many waters. And he had in his right hand 7 stars. And out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword. And his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. Yeah, his countenance was as the sun shining in his strength because he was wise. Okay, Ecclesiastes 8:1. Who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. So imagine being the Lord. He had all types of wisdom, man. Okay, Revelation 1:16, and he had in his right hand 7 stars. And out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. So he had in his right hand 7 stars, which I believe is a representation of these churches. And he tells you that can't pluck them out of my hand, KJV. John 10:28. And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. And that's talking about his elect. Okay. And that's the 7 churches is also, it means completion too. Okay. And he had, did I grab this? Revelation 1:16. John describes Yahushua with a sword, with a sharp 2-edged sword coming out of his mouth, holding 7 stars in his right hand, and with a face like the sun shining in its strength. The sword symbolizes the power of God's word to judge and discern. And that's right. That's right. According to Hebrews 4:12. A 2-edged sword. For the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any 2-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So that's how powerful his word is. It's sharper than any 2-edged sword. Okay. The swords, the stars represent the leaders of the 7 churches under Hamashiach's protection, and the radiant face signifies his divine glory and authority. Okay. Yeah. But it also signifies his knowledge, man. Okay, he got that. He knows. He got the wisdom, man. Okay. Revelation 1:17. When I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead, and he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, Fear not, I am the first and the last. I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and of death. Yeah, so that's the Lord telling you, man, I'm alive and forevermore. I ain't dead, man. Okay? And have the keys of hell and death. Let's go into this. Revelation 1:18. Revelation 1:18 meaning. Let that get that. This verse emphasizes the resurrection of Yahushua and his victory over death, signifying his authority and power over both the spiritual realm and Hades. And wrong. Okay, that's wrong. because there is no hell, man, except for the grave. But it's also symbolic of Esau. Okay, he is his hell and he is his death. Okay, and let's go into this word keys. We have keys. It's like you got the power. A key, since the keeper of the keys has the power to open and to shut. Metaphor in the New Testament to denote power and authority of various kinds. And he got power and authority over this damn devil, man. Okay? And he's going to exercise that power and authority when he returns. And the Lord's given him the keys to do so. Okay? But everything is going to happen at the appointed time. Revelation 1, verse 19. As a matter of fact, I went in the chat. Let's see what it came to. Revelation 1, verse 18. It says, and I have the keys of hell and of death. Keys symbolize authority or control. Hell here, Greek, is Hades, meaning the grave or the realm of the dead, not the modern fiery hell. Death, literal death, which entered the world through sin. Okay, so the grave and death. Okay, so this could be twofold. As a matter of fact, let me look at my notes. I have to go back into this. Couldn't even get the let me put this down. Revelation 1 and 18. All right, I'm gonna have to go back into that. I ain't got no notes on that, so don't quote me on that one. I gotta get it. I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and of death. So he conquered the grave and he has everlasting life. So I mean, I can see that, but I just want to double check because I don't know if it's twofold too, because I know it also represents power and authority when you had the keys. So I gotta go back into that. But I do believe it means him conquering the grave by being resurrected on the third day and having everlasting life now that he's on the right hand side of the Heavenly Father. Okay. Revelation 1 and 19, write the things which thou hast seen, and the things which are, and the things which shall be hereafter. So you mean to telling me he's just writing a symbolic message to the 7 churches at Asia Minor to tell them that his feet are like bronze and things like that, just because it represents his judgment and authority? Or do you think him having the power of knowing, having the knowledge, I mean, it said his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. So if that means that wisdom causes the man's face to shine, according to Ecclesiastes 8 and 1, wouldn't that mean he knew something? Wouldn't that mean maybe this message was not for, it was for the 7 churches of Asia Minor, but it might be more for them when they come back through the reincarnation now? Because what's the point of writing the letters to them when they passed away and dead and gone, and the kingdom didn't even come yet, and they didn't even have a falling away yet? But now, when the biggest issue is seizure Borgia, and you trying to tell people that, you know, this is literal, they can't receive it because this message isn't for them. This message still applies. This letter is for the 7 churches at Asia Minor. This don't apply to everybody in the world. When John on the island of Patmos, he wasn't writing to a bunch of heathen. Hey, everybody, this is what the Lord looks like, and this is just symbolic. This is not for you to understand anyway. This letter's not for you. This is for the elected Israel, who are those same spirits that are coming back through the reincarnation, coming back. All right, they're going to receive this message. Now, that was predominantly Judah, but there was other tribes during that time that were, scattered amongst all those tribes. You can even read about Tobit. Tobit is a good example of someone returning back to Jerusalem after being exiled. Okay, so there was some people from the northern kingdom that returned back. Okay, and it's words for them too. All right, ultimately it's for the elect of Israel. All right, Revelation 1:20, the mystery of the 7 stars which thou sawest in my right hand, and the 7 golden candlesticks. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, which are messengers. Okay, might have been the heads of the churches. Okay, and the 7 candlesticks which thou sawest are the 7 churches. Okay, like I said, which also represents the elect of Israel. But I'm going to end it right there. Lord's will, that was edifying. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Orcha Kodash. Shalom.